think I'll cross and take my mans out, just kill yourself. In the trenches, 40 on my hip, I had to fix my...
New merch out right now. Go shop at FlissTwins.com, bro. Let's get it.
22. Jordan played with Pele, grandfather. 49.
Watch out, bro.
19, 12. Okay, bro.
All right, bro.
Let's see.
And look at them going to one another.
Oh, what?
No, that's the same.
I don't remember him ever doing that.
Right back, right? Didn't I say they were? It is 10th, 12.
From Hamilton's devastating crash to Verstappen's dramatic incident, which even destroyed a F1 driver's career. These are the terrible crashes that changed F1 forever.
An absolutely smeared championship protagonists taking each other.
And we gotta start with Fernando Alonso. In 2016, Alonso crashed badly as he went flying against a wall in the Australian Grand Prix. Through the air before coming to rest upside down at 200 miles per hour. Luckily, he wasn't seriously injured and was capable of escaping his McLaren. But trust me guys, that's nothing. Because what Max's father, Jos Verstappen, suffered from was one of the most infamous fire incidents in F1 history at the 1994 Hockenheim race. Jos came to the pits after 15 laps, hoping for a regular pit stop, but instead, he experienced the shock of his life. Fuel got sprayed out of the fueling hose and ignited his hot car. This became a huge disaster.
Heck, you know, I'll bug up though. How did that just randomly happen?
Like, for real.
No, that had to be somebody. I don't know what. That's unfortunate.
You gotta hurry up and get out, but you got all them seatbelts on.
Like, yeah, look, he already faced already in that junk.
Surroundings caught fire. Everything went up into flames, and it was suddenly dark and black, and I couldn't breathe. And despite this disaster, pit stop refueling still remained in F1 till 2010. But eventually, after several more incidents occurred due to refueling, it got banned for good. But even though Jos survived his fiery crash, another driver couldn't, which not only made headlines, but also became one of the worst moments in F1's history. In 1994, the crash at the San Marino GP changed F1 forever. Roland Ratzenberger, an Austrian driver who had competed in just 3 F1 races, crashed his car into a wall at 195.7 miles per hour during qualifying, resulting in his loss. But unfortunately, that wasn't all. Ayrton Senna, one of the best F1 drivers in history, crashed and passed away the next day due to one of the most horrifying crashes in F1 history. There are even rumours that the Brazilian was considering not competing in the Grand Prix because he was so devastated by Ratzenberger's passing. Sadly, Senna made the decision to race, and on lap 7, he lost control of his vehicle and hit an exposed concrete barrier at a speed of about 192 miles per hour. This incident created a great deal of changes in F1.
No, that's bullshit. Because, like, bro, there's no way. He said he didn't want to do. He was thinking about not doing it because he had a fear of that happening to him, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Freak, bro. Freak, bro. He should just went with his gut and never did it, dog. I ain't gonna lie. That's why you gotta listen to your gut, dog.
The safety of F1 drivers. To minimise dangerous detachments in crashes, testing methods for tyre barriers were made mandatory. Barriers were secured by rubber belts, and wheel tethers were adopted. But while these terrible crashes changed F1, some crashes also crushed one F1 driver's reputation. And we all know which Russian driver I'm talking about. Nikita Mazepin's rookie season made some big headlines, but not for any good reasons. He was a laughingstock. Even before his career got started, he was already being judged. And when he crashed in the first race of the year, obviously it didn't help him. But seriously guys, crash in the first race? I mean, come on. Even Sergio Perez repeatedly called him an idiot at the Portuguese Grand Prix. Also, his relationship with ex-teammate Mick Schumacher also deteriorated. And to the point where
your head.
That junk like a freaking football, Jordan.
Literally, bro.
Standing
up.
Gosh,
before somebody kick you.
He said they will, bro. Yeah, just have patience in the chat.
Oh boy, that got serious. But while this Haas driver's crashes were simply ridiculous, Another Haas driver was also involved in a crash, which not only changed his life, but also changed F1 forever. During the opening lap
Hudson
of
can't
the
give you my
2018
only weekend. You gotta
Bahrain
earn
Grand
that,
Prix,
boy.
Romain Grosjean was involved
Oh
in
my
a
God.
terrifying crash. He reached a peak force of 67 Gs when he crashed into a metal barrier at 119 miles per hour. This split his car into half and caused an explosion. Grosjean was trapped in the cockpit for 27 seconds before he managed to escape through the raging fire. But later, he revealed that the main reason he's alive is because of the halo, which definitely has become a huge part of F1 safety. But despite the safety precautions, some crashes were simply unavoidable, especially when it looked like a driver would do anything to harm their teammates' chances of winning. And we're, of course, talking about...
That's what I'm
Lewis
saying, because
Hamilton
the
and
thing about this is because if you crash, bro, other people is in danger now, too, bro.
For real.
You crash around the middle of the thing, they're going to try to swerve and something like that. They're going to end up
They
crashing.
all going fast, 200 miles per hour.
That's so fast, bro. Like, that's like a fighter jet, right?
No,
Is that not?
maybe. No, I think fighter jets go around 300.
Was close feet.
It's
From
close.
Rosberg,
Yeah.
despite winning both constructors and drivers' championships, things got personal for the Mercedes drivers, especially at the height of it. When the pair took out each other on the opening lap of the Spanish Grand Prix, the crash was so bad that it not only fractured their already tense relationship, but also had Mercedes threaten to sack both drivers. But what's interesting is the pair were actually childhood friends, and even after that, their friendship suffered and got ruined to the point where Lewis even told Mercedes that he didn't want to race for them again. Niki Lauda also stressed that both drivers pushed each other to the limit, hence the crash. But turns out, this crash was nothing compared to the crash that Niki experienced during his racing days, which was so devastating that it forced F1 to make changes. It was 1976 German Grand Prix. Bad weather and track coverage meant that parts of the Nürburgring circuit were wet. Now, what's interesting is, even though Lauda was the fastest driver on the circuit, he still expressed his displeasure with the track and asked his fellow drivers to abandon the race. But unfortunately, he was outvoted, and as such, the race went ahead. And sadly, at the notoriously dangerous Bergwerk corner, he lost control of his Ferrari, veered off the track, collided with a wall, and his car burst into flames. The Austrian driver suffered severe burns to his head, hands, and inhaled hot fumes that damaged his lungs. And after being taken to the hospital, he fell into a coma and was even given his last rites. But he survived, thank God. But while Niki Lauda's crash became a defining moment in his career, Nicholas Latifi's crashes were also pretty much defining, but not in the way he wanted.
If you're the parent,
Bro, I ain't gonna cap, but this sport is dangerous as freak.
I couldn't drive that fast. I'd rather just go to Andretti's.
Yeah, nah, for real, bro. I'm gonna be real.
Laps of the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Latifi ruined it for Mercedes. Hamilton saw his lead cut after Latifi crashed into the barriers. But as apologetic as Latifi was about the incident, he did little to change his Latifi status, as he also crashed behind a safety car at the Monaco Grand Prix. Behind a safety car.
I can't turn that
come
fast.
on. How does that even happen? Well, this is what Latifi said. The throttle didn't get stuck, but it was like the throttle got stuck. It was very strange and surprising at the same time, and I was already going so slow there, I was just a passenger at that point. The car is driving forward and I'm not on the gas, so I don't know what's happening here. Well, now that's one way to put it. But remarkably, that wasn't all. During the Japanese Grand Prix practice session, he got lost and turned down a dead end. And instead of continuing down the track layout, he made a 180-degree turn and went the wrong way. This obviously didn't go unnoticed. But instead of owning up, once again, he blamed the incident on the car being strange. Latifi. What a guy. But while Latifi's crashes luckily didn't cause any serious harm, unfortunately we can't say the same thing for Antoine Hubert. Because, as we all know, the crash he was involved in was simply devastating. In the Belgian Grand Prix, the F2 driver was involved in a high-speed crash. On the second lap, Hubert collided into a barrier near the high-speed Eau Rouge turn, and was then struck by another driver, Juan Manuel Correa, which caused Hubert's car to be completely destroyed. Antoine later succumbed to his injuries and thus couldn't survive. But sadly, that's not all. Because Formula One racing icon Jackie Stewart also experienced a similar incident at the same corner. Stewart was left facing his end when he crashed his car at the Spa circuit, which left him
What the-
hanging upside down with fuel trickling down his face. He was safely rescued from his automobile by 2 other drivers, and since then, he's led multiple campaigns to increase drivers' safety. But surprisingly, his initial thoughts were that seatbelts were unnecessary and uncomfortable. But since then, he's changed his mind after these many new safety measures prevented from losing many drivers. When I was starting in the Formula 1 world, the tracks were hideously dangerous. There were no runoff areas, and it was just crazy. Ridiculous things like telegraph poles were up close and personal. But while Stewart already changed his views about seatbelts, Carlos Sainz's crash still forced the FIA to dig deeper regarding its seatbelt rule. During the second practice at the Monza circuit, Carlos Sainz crashed hard into the wall at the Ascari chicane. The impact was so heavy that Sainz was pushed pretty far forward towards his steering wheel, despite having his seatbelt on. F1 fans got extremely alarmed by this, but the FIA still noted that while Sainz's case was strange, it's normal for seatbelts to give a little impact, because doing so is far safer for the human body than when they are rigid. Even Michael Massey said, "I think the seatbelts are made to stretch. We will look at the seatbelt, as we do with any major incident or significant incident like this, and see what we can learn from it." But even though this crash created FIA ways to improve the sport, another crash created dispute among Red Bull's teammates, which even led to one of them leaving the racing team. At the 2018 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, both Red Bull drivers, Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo, crashed into each other while battling on the long straight. Both of them seemed to move under braking. Verstappen defended too hard and Ricciardo attacked too aggressively, thereby resulting in a double DNF. After the race, Ricciardo even said that Verstappen's cutting into him annoyed him, and his frustration increased when he realised that the team wouldn't help him. We touched wheels a few times where it was always Max coming into me, as opposed to me going into Max. Part of me was waiting for the team to say cut the but never really got that. I'll say now, I was more just like, F you guys. Wow, I never saw Ricciardo angry before, but Ricciardo later explained that this Baku incident eventually made him leave the Milton Keynes-based team, since Verstappen was just ready to end his career. Even the team boss, Christian Horner, believes that Ricciardo was running from a fight with his teammate. And today, we all know who ended up where. Verstappen is a 2-time champion, and by looking at Red Bull's performance, he'll be a 5-time champ soon. Ricciardo, however, did return to Red Bull, but as a reserve driver to his former teammate. But still, this crash was nothing compared to what Guanyu Zhou had at the British Grand Prix. At the opening lap of the race, George Russell collided with the Alfa Romeo driver Guanyu Zhou, which then sent the Chinese driver's car flying across the track, sliding on its halo before being sent over a concrete barrier and into the retaining wall. This crash was so severe, as Zhou was literally skidding while upside down for a considerable amount of time. But thankfully, Zhou was unharmed, owing it to the halo, and even confirmed on Twitter that the halo saved his life. The halo is just one of the numerous inventions that shows how much F1 has advanced in terms of safety and saved so many lives. But unfortunately, we can't say the same for Jules Bianchi, this young, talented driver who was the first person ever to be in the Ferrari Drivers Academy. Had his dream dashed when he crashed his car into a 6,500 kilogram crane, which was clearing German driver Adrian Suttil's car. Suttil's car had spun out of control and crashed in the same spot the lap earlier, and as a result, his car was still being cleared by the crane when Bianchi lost control of his car on the same curve and crashed into the crane at 78 miles per hour and ultimately lost his life. This tragic incident forced the FIA to implement the 4-hour rule, which requires that races held during the day must take place no less than 4 hours before sundown, along with modifications to track
like, come
drainage.
on, dog. Why would they even make him let him drive in that type of weather, bro?
Literally, bro. It's all that water at that speed.
That was not going to work.
End up hydroplaning or something. Like,
yeah, whoever said that match would go through was crazy, bro. Come on, bro.
You gotta check the weather before the match.
Come on, bro. That's not smart. That's not smart.
And how emergency vehicles handle collisions. But even if these drivers' crashes created some positive rule changes, sometimes F1 drivers simply force the FIA to make a rule change. But this time, it's just for their benefit. One F1 driver forced a rule change just to gain an unfair advantage in the race. Another driver forced it, which was so bizarre that it even changed F1's future forever. But who are these drivers? And what changes did they enforce? But more importantly, why? I know you want to hear more about this, so just click the video right here.
Yeah, bro, I don't cap, bro. Yeah, that's just wild, bro. I feel like F1 people are doing the thing or whatever. They might have to when they doing that, they need somebody to mess up somehow so they could get ways to get better with their cars.
But that's not good though.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's
because those are big mess ups.
That's that's super dangerous though. That's like putting your life on the line for a company that basically so they don't get they need to have some freaking more tests or something with their cars.
Like a video game simulation in different situations in weathers or something something.
I don't know, bro. It's like they waiting for somebody to crash or something to change something about that.
They can have they can build remote control cars and race them in certain weathers.
For real, bro.
Different outcomes.
But that is just
something.
That's just super different though.
People dying and risking their life and stuff.
Heard you one time to the mob. Heard that you trying to get involved with it. Heard that you trying to come by.